video, I am going to teach you about the inequality symbols and the interval notations before we totally move for our new lesson, which is quadratic inequalities. So an inequality is a relation which makes an unequal comparison between two numbers or other mathematical expressions. It is used most often to compare two numbers on the number line by their size. Inequality symbols are a shorthand notation used to compare different quantities. There are four inequality symbols. The first one is greater than. I believe you already saw the symbols, greater than, and then the second one is less than, the third one is greater than or equal to, and then the fourth one is less than or equal to. So these are the four symbols for inequality or inequality symbols. Okay, you should remember this four kasi you will often see them in quadratic inequalities. And then that's it for inequality symbols. Now let's move on for the interval notation. So in your module, there are a lot of things going on. So in this recorded video, I decided to make it short or summarize what is written in your module. So you need to remember just this table that I am going to use. So yeah, kindly take note of this table. Interval notation and then number line. Ayan. So when you see something like this, or when you see this inequality symbols, which is the greater than or less than, you should remember that the interval notation that you're going to use is the parenthesis, which is the symbol. Okay? Yun yung gagamitin yung symbol for your interval notation, parentheses. And then sa number line, you will notice na kapag ito yung inequality symbols, yung plotting niya open circle. Okay? And then kapag naman yung inequality symbols na given is greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, the interval notation that you're going to use is the brackets. And then on the number line, you're going to note you are going to notice that the circle there is shaded or it is a closed circle. Okay, so you should take note of this table kasi yun na yung pinaka-summarize no nakasulat dyan sa module ninyo. So, first of all, tatlo lang naman yung highlight ko, no? Expressing the sentences using inequality symbols na I know that you can answer by yourselves. And then, writing interval notations. So, how do we able to find out the interval notations in the number line? So, that is what we are going to discuss right now. So, let's say, for example, I am going to find the interval notation in this number line. So, this is a number line. It is composed of positive numbers on the right side and on the left side there are negative numbers. So yeah, let's say for example, I am going to draw some things here in the number line and you're going to find what is the interval notation of that illustration. So let's say for example, I draw a circle here and that circle is shaded. Okay? Up until here. And that circle is also shaded. And then, yeah. Sensya na kung hindi straight line. So, yan. I draw that. What will be the interval notation of this illustration? So, when we are finding the interval notation, kaya ako kanina pinatake note yung table, kasi po, you're going to remember the symbols. Okay? So, again, kanina, ganito yung symbols, di ba? Kapag open yung circle dun sa number line, ang gagamitin mong interval notation ay parenthesis. Kapag naman close yung circle or shaded, ang gagamitin mong interval notation ay yung brackets. So in this example, as you can see, the circles are both closed. Meaning when we write the interval notation of this example, I am going to use braces sa parehong side when I write the answer. Okay? So, -1, lagi pong nauuna yung mas maliit na given. Okay? So, when we write interval notation, it should start from left to right. Okay? So, -1. Bakit braces yung ginamit? Kasi the circle here is closed. Okay? And then, we have 6. Okay? Braces din yung ginamit kasi close yung circle na given. So, that is the interval notation of this illustration. So, of course, madali lang yan. Kayang-kaya nyo yung gawin. And then, another example. No. No. Yung number 9. Sige. I'm going to create a new number 9. Hindi na copy. So, let's say, yeah. Medyo matagal kasi I'm going to create another number 9. So, hindi ko na nga siya feed upan para mas mapadali. So, let's say I have here and then here. And then the value here, let's say, is -9. And then, let's say this is 5. Yeah. And then, I'm going to add an open circle here up until here. And then, a closed circle. So, if I am going to write the interval notation of this illustration, I will come up with this answer. So, -9 open circle. So, you're going to use a parenthesis for that. So, -9, this is a parenthesis. And then here, that is 5. And then brackets. Why is it brackets, ma'am? Kasi close yung circle niya. Meaning, 5 is included. So, kapag po kasi open, meaning, sa solution set mo, hindi included yung -9. Hindi siya included. You should also take note of that. So, sa interval notations, kapag sa number line, kapag open yung circle, ang gagamitin is parenthesis. Meaning, the value of that number is not included. Okay, I forgot this part. Kindly take note of this. And then, if the given is a closed circle or a shaded circle, you're going to use the brackets in the interval notation, meaning that is included in the solution set. Okay, so yeah. So it's very easy to find the interval notation, no? So you're just going to observe the circles if they are open or closed, and then follow the condition that if the circle given is an open circle, then use a parenthesis, and if it is closed, then use a bracket. Okay? How about kapag halimbawa binaliktad ko yan? Paano naman kapag interval notation yung given? Tapos, we're going to graph the interval notation. So, halimbawa, the interval notation given is 1 and then 9. So, as you can see, ginamit ko parehong parentheses. Therefore, if I am going to plot this interval notation in a number line, so I'm not going to write all the values, okay? So, let's say this is 1 and then dito yung 9. If I am going to graph this, I'm going to write an open circle and then an open circle then dito sa kabila. Kasi parehong parenthesis yung ginamit. So, pareho silang open. Meaning, 1 and 9 is not included in the solution set. Okay? And then, let's say another example. Sa interval notation ko, halimbawa, ang given ay -2 and then in this part ay 9. So, napansin nyo, on the left side ay brackets and then on the right side ay parentheses. So, if I'm going to graph that, so dito yung -2, let's say dito yung 9, and then brackets yung ginamit sa kanya. Therefore, the circle here is a closed circle or a shaded circle, and then sa number 9, an open circle. Meaning, si 2 lang yung included. Si -2 rather. Si -2 included siya sa solution. Si 9 not included. So, ganun siya. Okay. So, ganun lang po mag-graph na graph using the interval notation and kung paano hanapin yung interval notation using the number line. Paano naman po pag ganito, let's say, yung given. Paano pag yung given is yung inequality symbols? So, let's say, for example, we have x. Let's say we will graph this, okay? Tapos yung given mo, hindi interval notation, inequality symbol. Let's say x is greater than or equal to 5. So, in the number line, pangit ng number line, sorry. So, mas malaki daw or equal daw yung value ni x kay 5. Meaning, si 5, included ba siya sa solution? Yes, kasi may equal. So, therefore, ang gagamitin natin na circle is a shaded circle or a closed circle. Up until, walang sinabi kung hanggang saan, up until to the right side of the number line. So, Ma'am Noemi, paano po yun? Bakit ganun po yung nangyari? So, have you heard of the word infinity? So, sa math, mayroon pong walang hanggan. So, that is called an infinity. So, ayan, ganyan mo siya i-graph. Kasi yung value ni x, kailangan mas malaki or equal siya sa 5, diba? So, continuous dito. Puro positive numbers. So, using the inequality symbols, you can see this given. And using the number line, you can see this given. So, isa-isahin ko ha. So, using the inequality symbols, ito. And then, when we plot this given in the number line, you will come up with this illustration. Number line. Paano na po, ma'am, yung interval notation niya? So, yung interval notation nitong given natin ay, so 5, bakit po brackets, ma'am? Kasi di ba included si 5 sa solution natin? Up until papunta sa right side. Kapag papunta sa right side, this is positive infinity. Kapag sa left side, negative infinity. 5, and then we have positive infinity. Yeah. Kapag po ang interval natin ay aabot ng infinities, either positive or negative, lagi pong parenthesis yung ginagamit. So, kindly take note of this. Sa interval notation, ang positive infinity and negative infinity, parenthesis yung ginagamit natin. So, yan, using the inequality symbols, if I am going to graph this expression in a number line, I will come up with this illustration. And if I am going to find the interval notation of this given, I will come up with this answer. So, let's say we have another example. Let's say I have x is less than 5 naman. Ayan, using the inequality symbol, this is my given. So how about what will be the illustration of this given in a number line? And what will be the interval notation? So if I am going to plot this in a number line, shortcut na lang, no? I'm not going to list all the value or all the numbers in the number line. So sabi dito, x is less than 5. So included ba si 5? No, hindi kasama si 5 sa solution sets. Therefore, we will use an open circle. And then going to the left side. Okay? Bakit po going to the left side? Pababa yung value ni x, di ba? Pababa, up until negative infinity. Okay. So therefore, if I am going to write the interval notation of this, I am going to come up with this answer. So negative infinity up until 5, and 5 is not included in the solution, therefore I'm going to use a parenthesis. So ganyan yung interval notation niya ngayon. Okay? So and then again, another example. Pasensya na kung hindi ko na nilalagay lahat ng value sa number line. I'm just assuming kasi we will take a lot of time in drawing the number line. So let's say I have x is less than or equal to 10. Okay? So if I am going to write that using the number line, sabi dito, yung value ni x is less than or equal sa 10, meaning 10 is included in the solution. Kasi may equal to. So, ay dyan yung 10. And I'm going to write a shaded circle or a closed circle kasi included si 10 sa solution set. Okay? And then, up until sa left side ng number line, which is here sa negative infinity. Okay? So if I'm going to write the interval notation of this given, I will come up with this answer. So negative infinity, and then 10, and then brackets. Bakit po brackets? Closed circle, meaning 10 is included in the solution, kaya brackets yung ginamit sa interval notation. And then, yeah, now that you know the intervals or how to draw the interval notation in the number line, also the inequality symbols. Sometimes kasi there are two intervals. So ditong ginagawa natin dalawa lang, 'di ba? So sometimes po nangyayari dalawa siya. So, paano po ba yun halimbawa, ma'am? So, let's say, the given is an interval, the given is an interval notation. No? And, let's say, that interval notation includes, again, the negative and positive infinity. So, let's say we have negative infinity and then 2, union, say 3 up until positive infinity. So, how do we able to plot that in a number line? So, let's say that is your number line. And then, I have here 2 and then 3. Magkasunod lang sila sa number line. So, if I'm going to plot this or graph this in a number line, 2 is included in the solution kasi brackets yung kasama niya sa interval notation. So, I'm going to write a closed circle up until here kasi dito yung negative infinity natin. So, and then, the next one, 3 is not included in the solution. So, I'm going to write an open circle up until the positive infinity here. So, that is how you write this using a number line. Okay? Paano naman kapag binaliktad ko? Paano naman kapag number line yung given? So, halimbawa naman, ayan yung number line. And then, I have negative 1 dito, and then dito ay 5. And then, let's say 1 is not included in the solution. This is negative infinity, and then this portion is the positive infinity. And then 5 is also not included in the solution. That's why I draw an open circle. So if I am going to write the interval notation of this given, you will come up with these answers. Okay? So negative infinity and then negative 1, we will use parentheses kasi negative 1 is not included in the solution. Union, okay? Magsasamahin, union, and then 5, parentheses din kasi 5 is not included in the solution up until positive infinity. So that will be the interval notation of this example or this illustration. And then lastly, let's say, how about if the given uses the inequality symbols? So let's say, for example, in our last example, we have negative 5 is greater than like x, and then x is greater than or equal to negative 10. So this given uses the inequality symbols, diba? So how do we graph this into a number line? So I'm just going to move this and then label everything. So using the inequality symbols, the given, how do we plot that in a number line? And what will be the interval notation? So let's create a number line. And then we have like 5, sabi, mas mataas si 5 kay x. So, negative 5 up until negative 10. Okay? And then, sabi dito, negative 5 is greater than x, but x is greater than or equal to negative 10. So, in this case, 5 is not included. As you can see, kasi yung inequality symbol niya ay greater than. Okay? So, we should write an open circle. And then, x is greater than or equal to negative 10, meaning negative 10 is included in the values of x. Therefore, I am going to write a shaded or closed circle. And then, yan. So that's how you interpret this using the number line. And then the interval notation will be like this. Okay? So, pag nagsulat again ng interval notation from left to right. So, negative 10 is included, so you're going to use a bracket. Okay? And then negative 5 is not included, so you're going to use a parenthesis. So, that's how you write this given using a number line and the interval notation of the given. So let's solve last example like this. Para sulit. I'm just going to erase everything. So let's say 3 is less than x and x is less than 10. Okay? If I am going to illustrate the expression using a number line, so I have here 3. Okay? I'm not going to complete the value of the number line. And let's say here is 10. Okay? So sabi mas mataas daw yung value ni x kay 3. But hindi tataas yung value ni x kay 10. Okay? Yung inequality symbol na ginamit is parehong less than. Therefore, parehong open circle yung lalagay natin. Hindi sila pareho kasama sa solution or sa value ng x. Okay? So, therefore, if I'm going to plot this using, or if I'm going to illustrate this problem using a number line, this will be what it looks like. Okay? And then both 3 and 10 is not included to the values of x. And then if I'm going to write the interval notation, it will be like this. 3 and 10 because hindi nga sila included sa solution. Therefore, I draw an open circle here in the number line. And kapag open circle, parenthesis yung gagamitin sa interval notation. So that is how anday kong na-discuss. That is how the interval notation goes and how the number line goes in solving or illustrating inequalities. So you should remember these topics kasi we will see these topics to quadratic inequalities. Kapag nag-solve na tayo ng solution sets ng quadratic inequalities, you will see the number line and then the inequality symbols, of course. Also, the interval notation kasi yung sagot sa sa quadratic inequalities should be in interval notation. And then, kailangan natin yung number line kasi may susolvein pa tayo doon. And then, yung inequality symbols, of course, kasi siya yung given. So, yun. So, yun. Be prepared kasi I noticed na wala sa book nyo tong lesson na to. So, I just include this kasi it will be very hard for you to understand quadratic inequalities without knowing interval notations and inequality symbols and how it goes. So, I believe na dapat unahin ko itong ituro sa inyo before we moved on to quadratic inequality. So, that's all for today and thank you for listening.